In a world chasing clicks and quick hacks, we're here for what actually lasts. This is the long game, where PR meets relationship marketing. Real talk, real leaders, and real results. We're cutting through the noise to show how credibility, connection, and consistency builds brands that endure. So whether you're an overwhelmed digital marketer, a business owner trying to stand out, or a thought leader ready to just level up, welcome to the long game. Because building something that lasts takes heart. So let's welcome your host, Jeremy Knauff and Jessika Suter. Let's go. That's right. Let's go. We are back here for the long game, and we have a great topic for you today. You've not met before. Hello. I'm Jessika Suter, aka Relationship Marketing Jessika, and my awesome co-host is Jeremy Knauff. And we are going to be talking about building content that converts, good content, but not the way that you might think, where you have to add just more and more and more into your content mix. So we have a special guest with us today, Katie Brinkley, and she is transforming social media marketing with her less is more for post strategy. That's right, for post, not all the post, not 4 posts in one day strategy, but 4 post strategy. With 2 decades of experience, Katie's unique method helps clients achieve more growth while posting less. Leveraging the platform agnostic storytelling, Katie tailors tactics to each brand's goals, driving measurable results effectively. Not only is she a super smarty and super creator, but a friend. Welcome, Katie.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be on the show. This will be fun.
This will be. So, Jeremy, I know you just met Katie as well, and we're talking about how she does her 4 post strategy. But Katie, you've built a reputation on helping brands post less and convert more. What was the moment you realized that traditional content, grind, all of the social channels just wasn't working anymore? And then we can dive into your 4 post strategy.
Yeah, well, and Jessika, like you said, I've had the opportunity to be on your amazing stage at Social Media Week Lima. And typically I'm talking about podcasting. But today I'm excited to talk about the 4 post strategy and showing up a little bit less on social media, but with more intention and a strategy behind it. Before we hit record, I was telling Jeremy that I used to be a radio broadcaster. And because being a social media anything back, when I went to school didn't exist. I just was on MySpace, and that was my introduction to HTML code, all of that. But I was just kind of having fun and trying to figure this new thing called social media out. And I guess I'm a geriatric millennial. So if you're born between 1979 and 1984, you're considered a geriatric millennial. And so I had the privilege of not growing up attached to my phone, attached to the computer, sharing what I'm eating. And so I guess my goal was always to, how can I be on social media and then get out and go live my life? Because social media is an incredible tool. I mean, it's what my entire business is it's an incredible tool. I have some of my closest friends I only see at in-person events once a year. But I still consider them some of my closest friends because of social media. My leads, they come from social media. And how can I use this as a tool instead of just giving my life away to it? And so that's really kind of what made me rethink about how I was showing up on social media. How did I want social media to be for me as a business owner? And then what kind of social media did I want to try and create for, my kids? They're, my daughters are 8 and 11. The 11-year-old is, she's going to be wanting to get on there any day now. I know it. What kind of world are they going to be seeing when they finally sign up for social media? Because it's going to happen eventually.
Katie, you kind of broadcast to the world just how old the 3 of us are.
Yay!
And pre-social media and all that. So, that being said, why don't you talk for a second about kind of the mindset that you have around the less is more, because the people who grew up with social media just being the default always, they all have this mindset that more is more, and I just need to tell every little thing that comes out of my mind. So talk a little bit about that kind of shift in ideology on that for you.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest things with social media in general, I think that is I guess like a superpower for me is, my space for life, is the fact that I always saw it as, how can I get in and use this to build relationships? And I was using it to help with bands grow their MySpace pages so they could get on the radio. Like I said, I used to work in radio. And so as a, self-fulfilling 20-something, I wanted free concert tickets. And so I was like, all right, I'll help you with your MySpace page, get you some radio interviews, just get me backstage passes when you're in Denver next time. So I mean, that is what I was always kind of going in with the transactional mindset of like, how can I get in, make these relationships, and then go experience them in life. And exactly like you said, Jeremy, for people that have kind of grown up along with, like having a Facebook page, having an Instagram account, being on Snapchat to actually text their friends and stuff, it is more like those darn streak things on Snapchat. Now I'm sounding like an old person, but I mean, like I gotta be posting all the time. Like I gotta keep my streak going, and it's exhausting, right? And so I wanted to look at it. Well, what is the point of this? Because I think that at the last event that I spoke at of yours, Jessika, I think that I was doing some research so I could put it in my slides, but there was over, I want to say, 7 million pieces of content posted on Instagram every day. That's a ton. And if that's a lot, it's a ton, and it's a lot of noise. And so we used to have 3 seconds to stop the scroll. Now we have 1.3 seconds. Like the time is just getting shorter and shorter and shorter. How can you create something that is building relationships? People want to stop their scroll. They want to make sure that they connect with you, they follow you. And it's by creating content that people care about. It's that converts. And so if you take that step back of just, okay, I need to post 180 times a day, you'll get more views. That's great for brand awareness, but what's the goal? Is it just brand awareness? Are you trying to fill your coaching program? Are you trying to sell a book? Are you trying to sell event tickets? What is your goal here? Because if you're just posting to post, like anyone can do that, anyone can make noise, but it's getting the right people to see your content and say, man, I haven't seen a post from Jessika in a while. I wonder what she's up to. And then they go out of their way to see your content, or, hey, here she is. She's live. This is amazing. I haven't seen her post in a minute. How was her Thanksgiving? I'm going to stay and watch, because I haven't seen her in a while.
You actually just nailed it, because I was out last week somewhere and I would rather not be healing. And people did reach out because of that, because I wasn't posting online. But I think it goes down to, like you said, knowing the goal, the strategy, and you have that framework for it, because this is for businesses, but also individuals, because I've seen so many brands, especially with now how easy it is to create content utilizing AI, that they're like, now I have 30 days of content, on every single platform. I can just push it out. And why isn't it working for me? Can you talk more to your 4-post strategy?
Yeah. So it's the 4-post strategy, or also known as the awareness to action strategy. And it's really designed so that, okay, what is my goal this week, or what is my goal this month? And maybe it is to sell event tickets. Maybe it's to get more clients. Maybe you just wrote a book and you're launching, whatever it is. Know what your goal is for that week or that month in marketing. This is what I want to try and do, is I want to sell X, or I just want brand awareness, whatever it is. So once you know what your goal is, it makes creating the rest of the strategy much easier, because you're reverse engineering. How am I going to get people to do this goal? Anyone can post a picture of their food, right? Anyone can do that. Anybody can just go ahead and post a selfie, whatever. But why should I care about what you're posting? And so you have to get the right people into your pipeline from the very beginning. And so it's creating content in the way that these platforms want you to create content, so that you're checking a box for these platforms, but also checking a box for the people that are consuming the content. I mean, there's Agorapulse, love Agorapulse. There's Metricool. I mean, there's so many great schedulers out there, and I use them. But just because you can click a box doesn't mean that all content is created equal and that it's the same culture on each platform. It's a very different culture on TikTok than it is on LinkedIn. So yeah, you can share it everywhere, but is it the right type of content? And so the 4-post strategy is designed to create the right type of content for that platform, for the end goal. And it all comes down to strategically creating content for that consumer. So if it's on Facebook, what's converting on Facebook right now really well for an awareness post? And that's making people problem aware while also getting the most awareness on the platform. So Facebook, it's those like single sentence with like a different colored background. Those get a lot of reach right now, whether it's to your followers or to strangers on the internet. Those single sentence, different colored background things get a ton of reach. They're very shareable. It's easy for people to comment. And it allows you to just make the right people problem aware. So this can be something that's like maybe an unpopular opinion or a bold statement or a statistic, asking a question. You know, Molly Mahoney, she was the one. So she was the one that I really saw like, this is what's working for more awareness because people want to chime in. On Instagram, it could be a reel. On LinkedIn, it could be a poll. Very easy for people to quickly tap whatever their opinion is and then move on. But all that counts as an engagement. When people are engaging with the content, it then moves them into your algorithm so that they'll see your next post.
You know, there's a facet of that I'd love to hear you go a little deeper on. You know, you were talking about creating content that people actually give a shit about. And I find that so many people have no idea how to do that, right? They're looking at it from their own perspective. I used to run into this all the time when we actually provided social media as a service. And they'd be like, well, we want to do something about, 10 reasons why they should choose XYZ company for this particular service. It's like, literally nobody cares about that. So like, what advice do you have for somebody to kind of get into the shoes of their audience, their prospects, rather than looking at it from their own perspective?
Yeah. And I think that that's where it gets really clear. So like, who do you want to take action on this? Mm-hmm. Are you trying to sell tickets to local business owners in Lima, Ohio? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get more people to tune into your weekly live show? So just for example, maybe you would have done the 4-post strategy for this episode, and the awareness post could have been on Facebook. It could have been, how many times a week do you post on social media? Just a question, very, very simple. People would respond. They'd be getting into your algorithm then. On Instagram, maybe you could do, a reel about like, talking to the camera, whatever, you're just making the right people problem aware. You want to raise the question for people to be like, well, yeah, I am posting on or not enough or once a week, whatever. The next post then is the elaboration post. And this is where you get to step in and be the thought leader and say, maybe on Instagram, it's a carousel. On LinkedIn, it could be a LinkedIn newsletter. On Facebook, it could be those thread style posts where it's, it says one thing and then like in the comment section, it's like 10 different sentences. So, I mean, this elaboration post is where you get to be the thought leader and say like, on average, the local business owner posts on social media 8 times a month. But the successful ones are actually posting 4 times a month. So is it true that, whatever, you can go in and say whatever you want to say on this, but you're elaborating on the problem that you made the right people aware of with the previous posts.
I love that, because you're starting from the inside out, right? First knowing who your audience is, because then you know, and your goal, right? So you're layering it. The awareness post first, you're asking an open-ended question, which allows you to spend time building those relationships with the people underneath that piece of content. Other people are seeing it, which then moves them to the thought leader. So now they're getting to know you on a deeper level, because now you can share your opinion. So it's not all about bullhorning your message out. It's about like being a magnet, right? Getting them connected to you and sticking with you along for the ride. So it's not like, oh, our social's not growing, so we need to kick out 6 more posts, you know, this week and add another platform and add another platform. But I would love to hear like the third part of that, because this is really hitting home. And I know you and I definitely are very much aligned on building the relationships aspect, as is Jeremy as well, being the PR expert. But yeah, what is the third step?
So the third step is the community post. So now we've made people problem aware. We've positioned ourselves as a thought leader. The third post is the community of, hey, this is why you can trust me. This is, I've been in your shoes. It's also the storytelling post. If you want to, you know, I say community, but it's a storytelling post where you get to put you and your people connect with people, right? Mm-hmm. And this is where you are going to deepen that relationship. You know, I know when I first started. So here, this is the real story. I remember taking my daughter when she was 1.5 years old to a park, and it was a beautiful day. And I saw a group of teenagers sitting in a circle, and they all had their heads down, and they were in their phones like this. And it made me so sad that this is what in-person experiences are now. We go out onto a beautiful day and we can't even sit and talk to the person that's sitting next to us. This isn't the world that I want my kid to grow up being a part of, is with their head down in their phone. And so that's when I decided to make a very real look at what was working on these different social media platforms. And that's how the 4-post strategy was born. That would be the post. I could use a picture of me and my daughter if I wanted to, or, you know, I could create the possibilities around this. Like, it could be a selfie picture of me just, you know, doing whatever. But this is where you tell the story that's going to help people connect with you and be like, I didn't know Katie had a daughter. I also have a daughter. Or it is too bad, like the kids these days, you know, whatever. You don't know what's going to connect with people. But this right here is the power of you stepping into being like, look, I've been to where you are. I've helped clients through what you're going through right now. You can trust me because I've been there, I've done that, and I have the solution.
I love that. What kind of a time frame does that 4-post strategy cover? Like, you know, how long will it take you to push out those 4 posts? Yeah,
well, and I mean, we haven't even talked about the 4th post, but that's the one that's actually asking people to leave social media, saying like, hey, by the way, you know, if you want to learn all about how to post less, you should do the action post, or, you know, you should watch us live on next Tuesday, you know, at 3 p.m. Eastern. You know, Katie Brinkley's going to talk all about it. You're asking people to take action, leave social media, go one step further with you, whatever it may be. And so those 4 posts, I mean, if you're crazy like Austin Armstrong, who I love dearly, but he's crazy.
I don't think he sleeps. I think he's
I know he doesn't ever sleep. He posts 30 times a day. God love him. But I mean, you could do it all 4 of those posts in a day. Okay. I post 3 times a week. So that's what works for me. You can post every day in this format. But again, it's having the strategy of, what do I want people to do when they see my content? How can I get the right people to see my content? Because I'd much rather have 4 people take action to sign up to work with me, you know, as the action post, or to say, hey, I'll come and watch your live stream, as opposed to, you know, I don't know, going viral. It's not a business strategy. It's only going to get you so far. Whereas if you know what your end goal is and what metrics you can track, it makes creating the social media content much easier.
Amen. I think you see people, they'll be back. So even though you say leave social, it's not like they're
Yeah.
not coming back and connecting with you. It's now they're moving into your inbox a lot of times, or through whatever their partnership that this looks like. And just by the way, if you guys are just tuning in, thank you so much. Definitely make sure to join the long game so you get notified of the recap and replay of this. And we'll share Katie's book on this as well in the recap, as well as you'll get notifications for future episodes, because this stuff, it really, really works. And it's not just for individuals. I know we're sharing personal stories here of, because that's kind of the space you in. People hire you, right? But there are some companies that, they are the logo, not that they should be, but they're currently at that spot now. And maybe they don't want to be the face. But can you provide maybe a use case of like how a brand could do this in the same way and build rapport with their community with using this strategy?
Well, and I think that with everything, Jessika, it moves the needle so much when people feel like they're being heard. If someone saw your post and felt so impassioned with what you are creating, the post that you put online, and they got both thumbs going to leave a comment, please respond to them. It blows my mind how many companies have nobody responding to comments or actually engaging with their audience. That can move the needle so much, and you can get so much, data from people. You can start DM conversations. I mean, like, just respond to comments when people leave a comment on your post. But as a business, I do think it's really important to have some view into who works there, who the person is behind, the people are behind the brand, whether it's your entire team and you have certain members of your team take over the social media accounts. Every Thursday is our marketing department, and every, Wednesday is our sales guy or whatever. Allowing people to see the people behind the company matters so much. And I think it's even more important with all the AI now. Holy cow, the AI is such a great tool, but seeing the real person, seeing the real conversations, the real stories.
Yeah.
Love
that. With that, we've done that even with some of our clients where they build up some of their favorite people. We just started working with a dress company, and they have nursing dresses, and these mamas love this brand, and now they're posting, as the brand. But because they have such loyal following and followers, and it all started out of a Facebook group, believe it or not, back when you could just do everything in the group because they were smaller, and now they're selling all across the US, 75 new garments, types of print of dresses every 2 weeks, like crazy insane. But people are volunteering now to do some user-generated content for them to showcase what it's like in experiencing the wearables, right? That they have and why they love it. And now they're sharing photos. I just seen a super cute one. It's like, there's nothing I can't do in my super cute dress. And it was a mama holding her baby on the front and then pulling the sled behind her with another kid on it. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, now people get a sense of the brand and the community. It's almost like the community answers the questions before the brand can, because they've fallen in love with the brand and just how they show up. So,
well, I think that, Jessika, that's exactly it. Is you want to be what people talk about when you're not in the room. Exactly. Right? And if you're creating good content that gives people value, that they connect with, that has that give first sort of, look, I'm just giving you this information to help you. They're going to want to work with you. They're going to want to tell their friends about you. And you're building those connections online without you having to be in the room. And it's by showing up authentically.
Speaking of authenticity, there's a strategy I've seen a lot of people using lately, and a lot of big accounts, frankly, where they will come out and they will post something outrageous. It's absolute bullshit. It's not true at all, but they're doing it to get engagement. They're doing it to get a reaction. And, it'll eventually come out that whatever they said isn't true. And you see this a ton with politics, but it happens in business as well. Mm-hmm. So, what is your thought on that particular strategy? Because it does work from an engagement standpoint, but how does that play out in your mind from a long-term brand perspective?
Yeah, I mean, every brand's going to have their different brand guidelines and core values. I think that, with what the 4-post strategy is really designed about is to create really is good content that moves the right people in your direction. And that's why I say going viral isn't a business strategy, because there's a lot of times it's not the best content that goes viral. It is those things that's very untrue or is not the facts, because you have angry people. And personally, I don't want to have a whole bunch of angry people following my account, because they're probably not going to buy from me. So I think that really you have to understand like what it is for your end goal. And I know that more followers, like we always feel better when like, hey, yay, that got like 300 likes or whatever. Like, holy cow, that post got, 42 shares. It really resonated. Yay. Pat myself on the back. And it feels good. It gives us that little dopamine hit. But at the same time, like, well, thanks for the 60 cents, Facebook. Like, did it really move the needle for me that much? Like with my business? Probably not,
I agree. And that's why the name of the show is The Long Game, right? Like, so this is playing the long game. And have you seen that this then grows into more sales and traffic for businesses?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting the right people to see your content, the right people to follow, the right people to say, hey, actually, you're looking for a holistic chiropractor. I actually follow this really great account and they have a podcast and everything. You should check them out. Or I've never even, it's getting the right people into your sphere, because man, I wish I could say I was the only digital marketing agency in the world. I'm not let alone on this call, in this building. I mean, there's more. So like, this is where it's like, there's a lot of people out there that do what you do. Mm-hmm. And by you stepping in and being like, look, I'm someone that you can trust. This is the way that we do things. This is my story. Let's build that connection. It's bringing in the right people that are going to want to do business with you. They're going to see your stuff and say like, yeah, I can't wait until I can have a call with them, or this is the right person for me. I saw their content. Where do I sign?
And you've heard me say this a million times. Anyone can do what you do, just not the way that you do it. Mm-hmm. And there's enough work out there for all of us. And it's really just about like, who's the right fit, right? Yeah. That's why we bring people on like you, that I'm like, I'm not scared to bring another digital marketer on here or collab with, another digital marketer. Like I want that, because there's enough work out there for all of us. But if you can look at one person's social page and can't differentiate from another brand's social page, especially the companies that they maybe all share like the same type of post, because they just pay this agency that's like, hey, we got your content covered, and they share the same exact social post across all of the channels. I'm like, how are you standing out at all? Like, that makes zero sense to me. But,
the brand.
Yeah, and I think that it's so true. Like, it's if you're doing the same thing as everyone else, like you're just more white noise, and it makes you very I was going to say skippable or scrollable. Like people are going to scroll right past you, and they're not going to be like, oh, wait a second here. It's Jessica's post. Every time she says something, man, is it good?
Well, thank you.
And Jeremy, I just met you, so I can't use you as an example yet. But now that we know each other, I will stop my scroll.
I will send you a video that he just sent me, if it's okay, and he'll tell you everything you need to know about him. He's hilarious and brilliant. And we met at the Innovate Summit, but yeah, very, very smart. Katie, I know, man, 30 minutes goes by way too fast when talking with you. Too fast. But
I'm a little long-winded. This is why, social media, TikTok isn't the best platform for me, and a podcast is, because it takes me a while to get things out.
No, it's perfect.
Jess, let's make sure to plug her book before we wrap this up.
Yeah, of course. That's what I was. You're reading my mind. This is what happened when we were on stage together at the Innovate Summit on a panel. He said something. I'm like, ditto. Yeah, like, and that's what I was like, we got to do a show together. But yes, Katie, where can people find you? And of course, as I mentioned, I'm going to drop the link to your book in the blog, a recap, and all the places to find you. But where's the best place for people to check you out?
Yeah, so best place, and you can kind of choose your own adventure from there, is katiebrinkley.com. You can get the book, you can go listen to the podcast, you can connect on socials, check out the agency, whatever. But go to katiebrinkley.com. That is the best place to go.
That is awesome. I'm going to drop her link in here. Of course, if you are watching this as a replay, leave questions that maybe you have for Katie, or let us know your biggest takeaway. Also, some other guests or topics that you would like us to have on in the future. Next week, we'll be here back again at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're so excited for that. Mark Schaefer is going to be on with us. He's the author of Behind the Brand and the Marketing, or Belonging to the Brand, and the Marketing Rebellion. He has a ton of books, others that he's launching right now. The man is just super smart, as well as Katie. Katie, thank you so much for your time today. Thank all of you for tuning in. If this was impactful for you, please share it with a friend that you think you're like, hey, I'm not saying you're posting too much white noise and giving fatigue, but maybe this could be a better strategy for you. So feel free to share it on. But thanks, everyone. Have a great week, and let's play it for the long game. Bye, everyone.